Hey, this is Ryan, and today we have a RiotSC dual sector gear set. This is the Revolution gear set. This is a 13:1 ratio. RiotSC gears are CNC machined out of chrome moly. They are renowned for being the strongest gears on the airsoft market. Today I'm going to show you how to install them and what modifications you need to do to your gearbox to make it work properly. Alright, so some modifications. First, you're going to need to cut down your tappet plate. It should be about So with a regular tappet plate, when the air nozzle goes forward, if it pulls it back, then so when a regular tappet plate gets pushed back forward, there would be too much delay, and it would still be back by the time the second nub pulls it back again. So it wouldn't be moving all the way forward into the hop-up. So in order to fix that, you need to cut it down about level with the sector gear axle, so that it gets pushed back forward in time, so that it gets pushed forward so the piston can move and you don't lose air. Another modification you need to do is you need a very high powered spring, because it's only pulling it back halfway. So if you have your M120 spring still in there, then it's going to not shoot as well as you want to. Another modification is you need to short stroke your piston. I find it to be the easiest with full metal teeth pistons, because then you can just shave off gears with a Dremel. Another modification is you need to correct the angle of engagement. To do that, usually you just use sorbethane pads, and you also need to shave down some teeth in the back of the piston. And since your piston is only being pulled back halfway, I find it the best to use a ported cylinder that is type 4, so it can accelerate a little bit before it goes all the way. You're also going to need a shorter barrel for this. If you have a 363mm barrel, then it's not going to be as efficient. The angle of engagement is the point at which the sector gear starts pulling back the piston. So you want it to be almost 12 o'clock, maybe a little past 12 o'clock, so that it doesn't pull it back too early and you get stripping of your teeth.
How do you modify that? Is it just the way you place the gears in when you put it together? Or?
No. So you can see on my cylinder head, I've added sorbethane, which is really soft padding that I really recommend, and it just adds a little bit of space so that it pushes the piston back when it starts, so it's not further forward.
Did you have to cut that yourself, or is it something pre-made, or something that you buy the raw materials and cut it out?
Well, usually you buy sorbethane yourself and cut it, but I found a guy on Airsoft forum named Scatterplot, and he laser cuts them by himself.
Cool. Yeah. So we're going to go through putting it back together, or is...
Yeah. And make sure that whenever you install a new gear set, make sure you always reshim it. I've already shimmed this gearbox so that it works efficiently. So also you can super glue your air nozzle to your tappet plate, being sure not to get super glue in here.
Why are we super gluing it? Is it
just easier? And this is the tricky part, just getting the anti-reversal latch to stay in. Usually wants to pop up. Where did I put that spring? Sweet. Alright. And this is another tricky part, getting the really strong spring to go in.
What strength is that spring?
That's an M150 spring.
Okay.
So just do a last check, make sure everything is in there, make sure your trigger didn't pop up, make sure you have all your springs, your trigger, contact spring, tappet plate spring, and your anti-reversal latch. And make sure all your wires are down, they're not moving, and then you just force it. And you can use your leverage and just push this end of the spring guide down so that doesn't make the piston pop up. And you can just hold it there all day. And then you just put the shell back on. And then just make sure that everything lines up. And it seems to be lined up. And then you just put your screws in.
It's not that easy. Nothing ever lines up.
I've done a lot of modifications to this. And I usually like to start with these screws first, just to hold it better, so that nothing flies out. And now the gearbox is secure. There we go.
So with the modifications in the gears, what kind of performance difference are we going to expect?
Depending on your setup, if you have the Revolution gears, I am personally getting around 55 rounds per second with my motor. With these gears, you need a torque motor in order to pull this spring with the gears you have. I am currently running a GMP M170 motor, but I ordered a Terminus X Thunder motor, which supposedly can pull an M210 spring on standard gears.